You're not dominating Africa. Like, you're not even dominating Nigeria.
Welcome on that episode of Builders Corner, and today with me we have Adeola.
Anyways, my name is Adeola Adesina. I'm a pharmacist, right? That's the first thing first. I studied pharmacy in school.
I mean, it's funny how nickname works. So you talked about
I
that
know.
you have done Web3 marketing, you have been an accountant before, and now you're helping startup raise, and also helping angel investors invest in the right startups. So how did you get into Web3?
It's a familiar name. It's Dami. One failed project that I always talk about was my very first product or startup coming out of pharmacy school. Was Drugger. So it was like an operating system for pharmacies and retail stores, mobile app for pharmacies and retail stores. It ended in a co-founder disagreement. I feel like there wasn't mutual respect, between us.
Currently,
Right.
what are you building and what problem does it solve?
So as a startup founder, I'm building Crypto Momo. Crypto Momo is based in Ghana now, right? So just being able to find capital, being able to find the right startups and match them with each other is the second thing that I'm building this year.
Not really interesting. So it's more like a VC firm, or is it a fully fledged VC?
Well, I'm not the VC. I'm just the glorified venture scout in this situation.
So what are challenges you have faced so far building Crypto Momo?
So at Crypto Momo, we've faced majorly two challenges. The first challenge was and the second challenge was one thing that has stayed with me that I've learned is be very enough to learn from the market. You're not dominating Africa. Like, you're not even dominating Nigeria. Only when I talked about moving money for Dangote, right? Ari tried to drag me and say, yeah.
Speaking of Harry, I have seen a lot of banter between both of you on Twitter, like crazy drama. And I'm just wondering what can be the backstory behind both of your personalities? Do you mind sharing?
Try to make the story brief. So I'll mention a name now. He doesn't like his name being mentioned, but he's in the story, right? So has been my friend for a while, and so this started when he was at Polygon, right? He was head of Polygon in Africa, and then he was doing quite well. Ari just moved, right? Ari was at FTN. Now flashback to Dami and Polygon. Now Ari was always shading his work, right? This, that, he would reach out to me and say, look at what this guy is saying to me. And because I liked Ari, I would be like, guy, Ari is just being competitive, right? He's not trying to shade you, I beg. And then Ari shaded the entire work.
Yeah. I want you to give a shout out to 5 persons that inspires you.
Ogo Arono inspires me a lot. One called Victor Akoma. Aravicans, I would say Oyoyo also does inspire me. I've worked with him at CNGN. Literally all my previous bosses inspire me a lot. Piece of advice I wish I had earlier in my journey. For me, the most powerful thing that I wish I knew earlier in my journey is a single word. It's called right?
That's beautiful. I think it also even comes out to our everyday life. So what question would you leave for our next guest?
It will be a question that came to me 2 days ago. So my next question would be, how many seeds have you planted? So look at your entire life, look at your journey, and figure out where you've planted seeds in people's lives.
Gem everyone, welcome to another episode of Builders Corner. And today with me, we have Adeola, also known as Obimbo on Twitter. So, Mr. Adeola, can you introduce yourself and tell us?
My name, turns out my first name is Joshua, actually. But I'm used to everyone calling me Adeola. And so my name is Adeola Adesina. Because I work with quite, a lot of people, whites, Igbos, Hausas, like different people, and they struggle to pronounce my name. So I just said, okay, just call me Joshua, right? But I'm used to Adeola. My name is Adeola Adesina. I hate introducing myself, because I've done quite a lot of things. Like, okay, I've done this, and then I'm this. Anyways, my name is Adeola Adesina. I'm a pharmacist, right? That's the first thing first. I studied pharmacy in school, but then I've gone from pharmacy to software development. I've gone from that to data science. I did some work in banking. telecoms, telcos, and then I've gone from there to do marketing in Web3 for about 2-3 years, and then I've gone from that to now helping startups raise and helping angel investors deploy capital into the right startups.
That's really interesting for you. You have vast experience of numerous career altogether. So, what's the inspo behind Robinho you answer on Twitter? Because I'm curious. I was thinking Onchain would be Robinho, but I think everything is Joshua. So, what's it behind?
Funny story. So it was 2007. I just finished secondary school, and then I got into Covenant University. So it was 2007. We were playing football in front of, the all 400 level students, Peter Hall. And so I was playing with two accounting boys. I can't forget their name, Fei and Basco. So someone says, I see this guy, they play like Robinho, right? And one of my departmental mates was there, right? A couple of days after, we were going to have this departmental competition. And so we had this coach training us, and we were all standing, on a long line. And so he asked us to introduce ourselves. So he would throw a ball at you, you would chest it, you control it, then you would, give it back to him, then you would introduce yourself. Before I was going to say my name is Adeola, Tommy Sin, who was my classmate, who was there when someone called me Robinho, just said, "Your name is Robinho." And that was how all my classmates started calling me Robinho. And that was how the entire school started calling me Robinho.
That's interesting. So from a football pitch, you now turn to one of your brand names on it. I mean, it's funny how nickname works. So you talked about that you have done Web3 marketing. You have been an accountant before, and now you're helping startup raise and also helping angel investors invest in the right startups. So how did you get into Web3?
It's a familiar name. It's Dami. So I and Dami have been friends for quite a while. And then he calls me this day and he's like, "Oh, you there house? Yeah, now I dey come. There's this Binance thing." So he came over and he was showing me his Binance. It was spot trading at the time. So he was showing me, "See, I made money here. I'm like, So how much should we start with? So I can't even remember the amount. But after he left, I signed up on Binance and I started spot trading as well. It was an interesting experience because we made quite some money from cake, from big early days, shit coins. We made money from BNB as well. It was quite a good experience. So trading spots on Binance was how I got into Web3.
Did you trade the futures? Because I know that most people that traded spot, probably after a few months, they will enter futures and say, let me test these waters.
I did not. I'm a little risk averse because I was coming from forex trading and I'd lost, it was about $4,000. I lost that same year trading forex. So I was a little risk averse at this time. So I was just comfortable doing sports. But my friends went to futures and obviously they got burnt.
That's interesting. So are there some unfinished projects you have had in the past or project that didn't go well that you would love to share and the lessons you learned from the project not working out?
I have a lot of unfinished projects. If I start to talk about all of them, there won't be time for this. But one failed project that I always talk about was my very first product or startup coming out of pharmacy school. Was Drugger. So it was like an operating system for pharmacies and retail stores, mobile app for pharmacies and retail stores, and it ended in a co-founder disagreement. Right? It ended in a co-founder disagreement. So here is the story, long story, but I'll try to shorten it. So this my senior in school calls me, right? He saw my post on Facebook and he calls to discuss the post. I've just left my job in banking, so he's like, "Oh, what's happening now? Blah blah." He just came back to Lagos. I'm like, "Oh, I'm building this, I'm building that." He's like, "Oh, we can build it together." So that kind of, "Oh yeah, come over to my place, let's start," right? So he moved over to my place and we started building. But along the line we fought, and long story short, I feel like there wasn't mutual respect, between us. He would say stuff and I'll be like, me, they follow talk. Like, we're supposed to be co-founders, so I'm not. I mean, you were my senior in school, no doubt, but we are age mates at the end of the day, and now we are building something we're taking to market. So, I would say a co-founder relationship is like marriage. It's literally like marriage, and you want to be friends with your co-founder. You want it to be someone you share the same values with, right? Before you go into that agreement, right? So it was a very bitter lesson for me because it was a solid product. We were going to do numbers. I knew the market. It was pharmacy market. I knew it like the back of my hands. We were going to do great things together, but we just couldn't work together because of value. The lesson it taught me is take your time to vet people before building with them. Right, so my present co-founder, I took my time. Like, we started building together, but we did not go into a co-founder relationship until after our first disagreement. So we had our first disagreement in Kenya. It was over like our pitch deck and the direction I wanted it to go as a non-technical person, and he thought that was too too risky, and we had that disagreement. I didn't budge, he didn't budge, but I saw how he handled the entire thing, and it's like, okay, and then I also soft-pedaled on some parts. So when I saw the way we handled disagreements for the first time, I'm like, okay, this time around, someone is not flying and calling me stupid and doing that. It was mutual respect. I can bulge here, I can give you this, but I will be tough on this. Okay, you take this, give me that. I loved it.
So it is very important that people vet who they're trying to co-found a startup with. That's an interesting lesson. So currently,
right,
what are you building and what problem does it solve? Because we are all here to know what you're building.
Okay, so I'm building two things. I can summarize my building life into two things. So as a startup founder, I'm building Crypto Momo. Crypto Momo is based in Ghana. You know what mobile money is, right? So you take your phone, your Nokia Touchlight phone, you dial a USSD short code, and you just send money, right? And then you receive money the same way. Ghanaians are used to mobile money. 98% of Ghanaians use mobile money to make payments every day. So I met Nate at a hackathon in 2022, the Polygon hackathon. So he won the senior track of the hackathon with Crypto Momo, and then we met after the hackathon, and then we started to build together. So we thought, what if we embed cryptocurrency into mobile money, right? That would be bringing it into Nigeria. That would equal to embedding maybe USDC into OPay, right? So if I want to send you USDC, I can open my OPay, transfer you USDC. So it was just the same way we embedded cryptocurrency into Momo, which was like, a technology that they were already familiar with. So the other thing I'm building is an angel investor that had invested in my first startup, right? Okay, so I had one mini startup before Droga. So he did invest in that startup and it didn't work out. So he reached out to me again and says, he wants to start to invest in, Web3. He wants to jump on a call with me to understand the Web3 ecosystem and how companies are built and how things work. And I did that on the call, and then he asked for another call to say, can you work with me to help me deploy a certain amount of capital every year into Web3 startups, right? So that's the second thing I'm building. We had a very interesting first year of investing, and then we've gone on to do the second year, and I'm even working with a lot more VCs now, right? So just being able to find capital, being able to find the right startups and match them with each other is the second thing that I'm building this year.
Really interesting. So it's more like a VC firm, or is it a fully fledged VC?
Well, I'm not the VC. I'm just the glorified venture scout in this situation.
Well, you still have much influence when it comes to the decision making on investing in VC.
I mean, it's not influence. It's just, I find a startup that I think should get investments. I write my investment thesis and I send it to the VC, right? So they either reject or accept my thesis. But out of 5 theses I sent last year, they accepted 4.
Wow, that's a good rate. You're really good at what you do. If out of 5 they accepted you for that's close to 90%
I think, right?
acceptance.
Thank you.
So I want to ask, what are some challenges you have faced so far being a builder? Because I know building takes tenacity and perseverance. So what are challenges you have faced so far building crypto momo, also building this investment firm or being part of the builder for this investment?
So at Crypto Momo, we've faced majorly 2 challenges. The first challenge was capital, and the second challenge was liquidity. Right. So we launched October last year, and then we went viral. I'm not surprised we went viral because I mean it's a tech that they already know, that they already use every day. So we went viral very quickly. Everyone was trying to use it to buy USDC, USDT, and stuff like that. But what that meant was that we do not have enough liquidity to serve the amount of customers we onboarded, right? So it was a very tough challenge. We had to bring in our own life savings, family and friends, grants from base, list here and there, match it up to serve the little users we can serve, but it still wasn't enough. So, and we weren't expecting. We just wanted to onboard maybe 100 users, 200 users max, and serve them over 2 years. But we onboarded 3,000, right, in a very short time, and it's that way because we had to do rate limiting. We had to reduce the rate at which we could onboard users. It's been a very interesting journey, right? But one thing that has stayed with me, that I've learned, is be very flexible enough to learn from the market, right? Be very flexible enough to learn from the market. The market has all the right data. There's no smart marketer. I tell people all the time, if you don't know how to test, then you're not a marketer. When we launched Crypto Momo, we had a list of 10 markets that we wanted to serve, that we thought was going to use this product. The markets we did not plan for, the one market user group that we did not plan for, discovered us on TikTok, came in, invited their friends, and they are responsible for 95% of our revenues and our volume.
Wow.
Yes.
95%.
So just be flexible with the market. Yes. Right? Just the market will tell you what it wants. Right? And they are the truth. They are the number one source of truth. So one lesson I've learned from Crypto Momo is be flexible with where you want to go, because when you get to the market, you're going to learn. You're really going to learn. From investing, one lesson I've learned, and again I wrote about this on Twitter. It was my biggest humbling experience last year. One lesson I've learned is you can build great things and be quiet, right? Because I'm a believer in talk about what you're doing, make noise. We are in the visibility era, right? So be as visible as possible, let people know what you're doing. I'm still a strong believer in that, but I think there should be a limit to it, right? So I met a founder last year, and he invited me over to his place, and he started to tell me things that he was building. And bro, these guys are building something crazy. Like I'm lost for adjectives right now. Like, it's crazy the depth of what they are building. And my question is, why? Why is this not in public? Like, no one knows, right? Someone is saying they are dominating Africa. Solana is dominating Africa, and I'm like, no, you're not. These guys are doing very well, but their Twitter, maybe they tweet like once in a month or so. Like, why? And then he did explain why. I'm not going to say why, but he did explain why, and it makes sense. So he went to sleep. I was sleeping in his couch because I was supposed to get an hotel, but we finished our conversation like around 3 a.m. at night. So I'm like, don't worry, no need. I'll sleep at your couch. I'll sleep on your couch. And then he came downstairs to say, you've not slept. Like, Mom, how am I supposed to sleep with everything that you just told me for the last 5 hours? Like, bro, I couldn't sleep. It was like a very big mental shift for me. Like, that midnight, I went back home, like it was a very big mental shift for me. So the big lesson was, there's a Yoruba adage that says "Agba ofifo ló ń dún woro." What that means is, if you go to an empty tank now and you eat it, what happens?
It makes noise.
It makes noise, right?
It makes.
But if you go to a
Yes.
full tank and you eat it, no noise, right?
Yes.
So empty tanks really do make a lot of noise. Filled up tanks don't make a lot of noise. It was a very big lesson for me. And so since I met them, I've not talked about quite a lot of things that I've achieved, even in VC right now. I don't announce deals any longer because I feel like, there should be a limit to visibility, right? There should be a limit to, talking about stuff online. So, yeah.
But I'm just curious. I mean, also watching this video, we are just curious. What are some of those things that give you that mentorship? Because I mean, something that will make you stay awake around 3 a.m. We don't mind getting some of that mentorship. So just tell us some of those quests they have done that made you
For me,
wow.
For me, it's just you know me. For example, there is this guy that's always again making noise. I also do make noise on Twitter saying Solana is dominating Africa, right? I can then take this community or these guys and compare them to this guy that I just spoke about, right? And it doesn't make sense. Like when I put them beside each other, one group is making noise and this, and for those of us on the ground, for those of us who know the ecosystem like the back of our hands, I've been very, very opportune to know and to be in the middle of innovation before it even gets out, right? I knew about CNGN like 6 months before it got into public, right? So because I know the ecosystem very well, when people say stuff like that, I'm like, no, you're not dominating Africa. Like, you're not even dominating Nigeria, right? But people dominating Nigeria, moving money. When I talked about moving money for Dangote, right? Ari tried to drag me and say, but the co-founder himself said it online. They move Kenya Airways money. They do all of these things, and they don't talk, bro. They don't say a word online. They are just silently doing volumes, and thankfully, I get access to the dashboard of these companies. I see these things with my eyes. I'm like, I just cannot come out online and say this is what they are doing because obviously I know why they are quiet. So it's a very, very humbling experience for me as a noisemaker as well.
Speaking of Harry, I have seen a lot of banter between both of you on Twitter, like crazy drama. And I'm just wondering what can be the backstory behind both of your personalities? Do you mind sharing like backstory behind both of your personalities? Because there's a lot of drama when people go on Twitter.
And I think it's a good story to share because anytime we're having banter, people reach out to me. Former bosses, Ugo, for example, there was one day we spent an hour talking on the phone and it's like, leave this guy, free this guy, right? Ugo happens to be one of our biggest advisors at Crypto Momo. Like, he gave us one advice that if we did not do anything about it, we would have died, right? So these guys called me and say, stop it, stop, leave this guy alone. And I'm like, I know how this thing even starts, right? So thank you for asking that question, and I'll try to make the story brief. So I'll mention the name now. It doesn't like his name being mentioned, but it's in the story, right? So Dami has been my friend for a while, right? He brought me into Web3, like I said earlier. And so this started when he was at Polygon, right? He was head of Polygon in Africa, and then he was doing quite well. Ari just moved, right? Ari was at FTX. Or let me start with how I used to like Ari as a person, right? When I came into Web3 marketing, there was only one person that used to put up their marketing ideas for public scrutiny. All right, and I really did mess with that. People don't talk about what they are doing. Right? Ari, Susanna, it was just two of them at the time before other people started. So I used to follow him. I used to engage with his tweets. I used to really like him as a person at the time. Now, flashback to Dami at Polygon. Now, Ari was always shading his work, right? this, that, he would reach out to me and say, look at what this guy is saying to me. And because I liked Ari, I would be like, guy, Ari is just being competitive, right? He's not trying to shade you, I beg. So that went on for about 2-3 years until 24, right? June 24. I was working at Peach Cardinal at the time. We were installing a software at the bank. And
2024. Is it June 2024?
Yeah. That was Onchain summer now. Onchain summer now.
Yes, I think yeah.
So our engineers were having a lot of issues. So Dami reached out to me and says, Alpha, Base is coming to Nigeria and they're coming to Africa, and they want to start with this Onchain summer. He's planning a tour. Would you join me? And I'm like, I'm not doing much with my life right now, so why not? Let's go, right? So we did Lagos, we did Enugu. I mean, we met at Enugu, right? And then we did Abuja. So tell me why we go back to Lagos on a Monday night, yeah, and on a Tuesday morning, Ari had written a tweet. Dami comes to wake me up with the tweet and say, see, he points his phone at me and he's like, see what I'm telling you, see what I've been telling you about. And for the first time, it dawned on me what he had been going through for the last 2-3 years, because now it was my work being shaded. So we did this music video where someone sang a very beautiful song and I planned the video myself. We paid for the studio, we did all of that, and then Ari shaded the entire work. And so obviously I got back online and I shaded him as well and all of that. But that was the startling realization of what Dami had been telling me for the last 3 years. And I'm like, okay, you want to be an opposition, Abi? I can do opposition too. But I did calm down and watched him. But time after time, he kept going against base founders, base is doing this, get shading base, and I'm like, bro, you can play the game, not be only you sabi shade, not be only you sabi opposition. And so after a while, I decided that this guy, now me and you for this ecosystem. Shebi, you know how to shade, you don't have peace in your dictionary, right? Me too, I can be very destructive, right? And so that was how we started. I wanted him I don't like people to think that they have a monopoly of violence, or they have a monopoly of shading, or just being destructive. And so I decided that whatever you are doing at Solana and Super Team, right? I mean, for me, it's just philanthropy. I'm sorry for the guys doing good work in Super Team, Unzupe and the rest of the guys, but I'm like, you cannot keep shading other people's work, all right, and expect everyone to just keep quiet. And finally, on this matter, I think that most of us in Web3 are because nobody can stand up to this guy, like really, right? So I mean, that's the story for me, right? So if you are a destructive person, keep shading base like once a week, you're not going to let up have rest. Some of us will not watch that happen. I hate bullies with my life, and I hate watching people get bullied. So this entire thing is about Dami getting bullied, and I would not stand for it, right? And I really do enjoy bullying bullies, right? It's something that gives me joy seeing it. Like the last crash out that he crashed out, I was so happy. Like it filled my heart with joy. I'm sorry. People don't understand why it makes me happy. Like I was so glad, and I'm ready to do it over and over again, right? So yeah, that's the story.
That's interesting. I don't know how to put it. This backstory is so interesting to listen to. So you guys have known yourself for a while, because I was wondering why there's this banter between both of you, but that's fine. Now people can know like the backstory of why you both always going back and forth with product on Base and on Solana.
Sorry, I tell people that it's people who just knew about this. People who are just finding about the banter that think it's Base versus Solana. It's a Base versus Solana thing. It's like a Polygon. If you go check the tweet during Polygon, it was Solana versus Polygon, right? So it's not actually a Solana versus Polygon thing. It was a Dami versus Ari thing. So this guy,
Okay.
I feel like he has main character syndrome, and he wants to be like number one everywhere he goes to. But then there's this other guy who is like a threat, right? So for me, that's my interpretation of what he does.
That's interesting. If it's started from Polygon now, because Dam is working with Base, now get attacking Base product and all that.
Let Dami go to Avalanche. Let Dami go to another chain. Yeah, it will be Solana versus that chain. I promise you. Don't take my words for it. Don't take my words for it. Just go to Ari_OB and search Dami, search Polygon, search Base, and look at his tweets over the last 5 years. Don't take my words for it, right?
So currently you are currently working on Crypto Momo, and did you mention the name of the investment firm? Or
it's called Olorire Incorporation. So it's a Nigerian fund in Canada. No, it's a Nigerian fund in Canada. It's called Olorire Incorporation. Yeah.
All right. So how do you set up structures in order for you to perform effectively? Because I am just wondering, with the engagements you have, how do you set up structure for yourself in order to perform at your best?
So usually I use virtual assistants, right? The last one I have is the fourth virtual assistant that I had. I was just thinking about getting another VA, but then OpenClaw came, and I did set up my OpenClaw last night. So I won't say I can use OpenClaw as a VA, but really I used to have live virtual assistants who work with me across board. So if I'm working at maybe CNGN or Olorire, I have my own personal stuff, Crypto Momo. So my VAs will work with me across board. And I think the word you're looking for is delegation. Like I tell my friends all the time, if you're good with delegation, you're going to be very productive, right? So I delegate work across board. I have people doing my designs. I have people setting up my meetings. I have people, who write emails for me when I don't have time. Although AI can do most of those things now. So just one word is just find a way to delegate duties. And, so for me, it's like in, out, right? So you delegate and then you judge. You delegate, then you judge. And then, you can get more productive.
Oh, interesting. So delegation. So for someone out there who's trying to build a structure for him or herself when it comes to work and career, just make sure to delegate roles to people or to your teammate or colleague or people you work with. It would help you. It also ease the burden on yourself and even on them. You say what?
You can't do everything. You can't do everything. And one of the problems with people like me is because I'm quite good at a lot of things, right? I can write, I can build websites, I can do everything I want to do myself. I get burnt out very easily, right? In trying to do everything myself. So once I figured out that I needed to learn how to delegate and supervise, right, my life got easier.
I want to give a shout out to 5 persons that inspires you.
Shout out to 5 people. Now, a lot of people inspire me. Just in case I don't mention, they don't hear their names, so they don't feel salty about it. Number one person that inspires me, and I'm just going to bring this to my work life because this is like a work conversation, right? I have people who inspire me in different facets of life. Ugo inspires me a lot, right? I mean, he inspires everybody, right? But because I've worked with him, I've seen his work ethic, bro. I worked overnight one day. I finished work at 5:30 thereabouts, and I'm like, let me just message Ugo that I won't go sleep or I don't go fit join meeting. I just sent my work to him, bro. 2 minutes, he's replied me. I'm like, what? Right? So Ugo really does inspire me. Not just seeing what he has achieved from far, working with him closely, it really, really, really does inspire me. That's one. Number 2 person that inspires me, I would say Uyoyo also does inspire me. I've worked with him at CNGN. Literally all my previous bosses inspire me a lot, and I've been able to pick 1 or 2 things from them that I apply in my daily life. Uyoyo inspires me from from the personal perspective, right? The way he talks, the way he carries himself, the way he moves, the entire frame of how he leads. It really, really does inspire me. Number 3 person that inspires me is someone called Victor Akoma. Right? I mean, the 2 co-founders inspire me, but Victor does inspire me a lot. Right? I reach out to him anytime I have issues and jump on a call and he'll say, Mr. Adeola, this is so humble. Right? I've learned humility from these guys. They are way older than me, but the way they treat you, the way they bring themselves to your level, bro, is crazy. Bro, it's crazy. Am I allowed to mention non-Nigerians?
Oh, yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah,
Naval Ravikants would have been my number 1. Naval inspires me a lot. Like, Naval wrote a thread. I don't know if you've seen that thread. The Naval thread. Yeah. Okay, so there's this thread Naval wrote about winning in life or winning in business, how to win, in this entire startup world. Learn how to sell, learn how to build, media and code is permissionless. I read that thing every single time, and it's like the Bible for Christians, right? It's like truth that never evaporates, right? So Naval really does inspire me. Number 5, I would just say all my previous bosses, right? Bayo Adekombi, Blessing, Oladeji. So the me that you see today is not me that finished pharmacy school in 2017, right? I've been able to pick up little things from working with this person, working with that person, and all of these experiences have culminated into me that you're seeing today. So I'm half of Bayo Adekombi, half of Blessing Oladeji, half of Mr. Femi at Brainjam, pick things from Ugo, Uyoyo, Deji, all these amazing bosses that I've worked with. They've actually shaped my life. They've shaped my thinking. They've shaped the way I perceive work and life and business.
That's fine. Not really fine. You have really had a lot of experience and you have worked with amazing persons. Not everybody can say their boss inspires them. I know a few persons that will say, God forbid I be like my boss. But I work under the same man twice, so it's really amazing I work with.
Actually, such people they look at life differently. There's one boss that I've mentioned here who I did not really like the way he treated me, right? But I know how to take out the bad treatment and figure out what I'm supposed to learn from working with this person. So I believe everything happens for a reason. I believe I met you for a reason. So I learn from every single person. So I can take out what they've done for me and really sit down and say, okay, this person, what's good about their life? What can I learn from them? What can I imbibe, right? So I just figure out how to pick things from people and imbibe into my life. Forgetting, we're human beings about people as well, right? But I just not have to forget what they've done that might not be palatable and just focus on what's good about them and learn as much as I can.
That's fine. Now, from our last guest, you have a question, and it is, what is your prediction for the blockchain technology in the next 5 years, product-wise?
So I really do not like to predict blockchain technology because all my predictions have been very wrong, right from 22, 23, 24, bro. Everything has been wrong. Like, no one could have predicted prediction markets. No one could have predicted everything that is happening now. But one easy prediction is stablecoins are going to take over finance. Like, it's a no-brainer, right? It's as sure as day. Stablecoins will take over finance. 2, prediction markets will take over the betting industry, right? So a lot of VCs now are trying to figure out who are the best guys at building prediction markets. It will take over the betting industry. 3, I think more liquidity is going to pour into crypto. Because it's going to go more mainstream than we presently have. So stable coins, prediction market, liquidity. I mean, those are the 3 things that I think are very easy to predict. The controversial ones are things I've stayed away from because of how volatile and unpredictable this space is.
When it comes to price actions, you don't want to predict price actions. Bitcoin hitting $1 million in the next 5
because
years.
for the first time, fundamentals kill crypto more than your technical analysis. So you don't plot your chart now, you don't do all your technicals, and then Trump bombs Iran and everything goes down.
I'm telling you, for you, the market is very it reacts to real world events. So truly it can't be that much predicted when it comes to price action.
Right.
What's one piece of advice you wish you had earlier in your journey?
Piece of advice I wish I had earlier in my journey. For me, the most powerful thing that I wish I knew earlier in my journey is a single word. It's called detachment, right?
Detachment.
So I wish, because I used to be a very what's the word now? A very ambitious person. I wanted to be Dangote. I believed I could be all this, and I would sleep late at night, sleep 4 a.m. I wasn't thinking of myself. I was just hustling. My parents were complaining. Everyone was like, "Why is Adeola working so hard?" And I've learned detachment. Detach from the process. Detach from the goals. I mean, it's good to be ambitious. It's good to work, but it's not a very good thing to be attached to the future. To the dream, to the monies that you want to make, to the good life. Detach from the process, and even when you're working so hard, you're going to enjoy your work, you're going to enjoy your life, you're going to live in the present, right? So detachment is what I would have advised my younger self.
That's beautiful. I think it also even comes out to our everyday life. There was something someone told me some time ago that, just like you said earlier on, that everybody has a season to be in your life, and then if at a certain point someone starts behaving a different way when it's not even your fault, then you should know that probably this person's season is over, and then you should know how to detach yourself instead of being in a toxic relationship with that person. And it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship.
Yes.
It could be friendship, it could be work life, and other aspects in life. That's a good take and advice. Thank you so much for your time, Adeola, aka Robin. So, what question would you leave for our next guest?
It will be a question that came to me 2 days ago, right? So I know we are done, but I'll just give this short story. When I was in school, I led a campaign for someone who had a cancerous growth in his jaw, and we led that campaign for about 2-3 months, and we were able to raise about between 10 and 13 million naira, right, at the time. But the story I did not tell was when I became president of the faculty of pharmacy. This guy actually did call me and tell me he was going to do some things for us at the faculty, right? And at the end of the day, the story was I was trying to reach out to former presidents and no one was answering me. But this former president calls me and says, "Adeola, I will repair your library. I will do this for you. Let's keep in touch." And what he did was he planted a seed in my heart that he did not know was going to germinate after 2-3 months, right? So while he was dying on that bed, I was moving from philanthropists to pharmaceutical companies to getting money, 100k a year, 50k a year till the money was complete. Now, it just dawned on me that this guy planted a seed that he had no idea was going to work for him a couple of months after. So my next question would be, how many seeds have you planted for the next guest? So look at your entire life, look at your journey, and figure out where you've planted seeds in people's lives.